Boston Uncensored Radio.
Back live, two hotheads where activism happens. 617-606-4122. Trying to get in touch with Maine State Rep Diane Russell.
Diane, we're calling you. Pick up.
This has happened a couple of times.
Should we text her? Is that how you text
I know,
state
well,
representative?
we just did. We sent her a Facebook message.
Oh, good. All right. Well, we're working on that.
And a voicemail.
We love you.
Should we email too?
I don't know. Why not?
Email, courier pigeon.
Let's send out radio love. Let's everyone in the audience that's listening. Let's send radio love to.
Yeah, there you go.
Unregular two hotheads.
The
love
power
Diane
of intention.
Russell, to get her to call us right now. Diane, we're thinking about you. Call us.
Yeah, we are.
Well, speaking of Diane Russell, if we do have her on the show, we don't. We got to get into what she's doing.
Right.
What she's starting.
Because this is some big news. Just recently, this was posted 22 hours ago. Obama made his first official statements on the legalization of marijuana in Colorado and Washington. And what he said is, quote unquote, we've got bigger fish to fry. It would not make sense for us to see a top priority as going after recreational users in states that have determined that it's legal. And later on, he says a little bit about, well, actually, they say in this article, this is the Huffington Post, he said Obama himself smoked pot as a youngster in Hawaii, where he and his high school pals called themselves the Choom Gang. And then underneath that, he says, there are a bunch of things I did that I regret when I was a kid, he told Walters. My attitude is substance abuse generally is not good for our kids, think of the children, and not good for our society. So he says at this point, he is still against the legalization of marijuana, but theoretically, that he does not see the enforcement going after recreational users as a top priority. What do you read into that?
Well, refresh my memory. What is the federal limit that says that like you're crossing that arbitrary line? Is it 50? It's 50 pounds, right?
No, it's usually based on amount of plants. I'm not sure about the weight. There might be weight for. Yeah, I think most of it. There are certain. Probably limits on what kind of dealers they go after. A lot of it has to do with interstate, too, whether you're between more than one state. Like, if you go from New Hampshire to Mass in a drug deal, then they can come after you. But, like, a lot of times, I think of it as if they're going after growers, and it's 99 plants. So, like, the medical and the legalization movement for the small-time decrim, the feds can't really do shit unless they change their laws.
Yeah.
You know, like, they're not going to come after me. Or, you know, unless you're on, like, federal land. If you're at, like, a federal park or whatever, then it's kind of a different law. But if I'm in, you know, Boston.
If you're on your private property.
Yeah, if I'm on my private property or in the streets in Boston, I'm not going to get busted for anything less than 99 plants. And I'm not going to get busted for under, you know, an ounce or under because the feds, they don't have any laws against that.
Yeah.
So most people are covered now, you know, like. Obama can't do too much. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. It's weird. We'll see.
That raises the question of, like, we have states that are recently getting into medical, like Massachusetts, and saying that we can only have 5 dispensaries per district. That means that dispensaries are going to have to carry more weight in order to satisfy the demand.
Or
that
individual growers are going to have to take on that responsibility.
So, is that pushing individual growers, caregivers, and dispensaries into crossing this arbitrary line in order for enforcement?
Yes, of course it does. That's why I want a legalization as a medical patient.
Right.
I don't want the two to be mixed. Let's be honest. There's only a lesser amount of people in California that we all know this that have cards compared to how many patients there really are.
Now, you guys were saying, like, you know, you just mentioned, like, Obama, you don't know what Obama can do, he can't do that much. But the thing is, there's a difference between the individual being able to carry that and an organization.
You're right.
A company,
yep.
you know? So that's what they can that's who he's going to go. Because this is what I'm thinking. When I hear him say this, I was like, this sounds very familiar. Because he said this exact same shit before with medical marijuana. I mean, this was the same exact thing. He made, Eric Holder put out that memo that said this is our, this should not be prioritized. We should not be going after them. Now, part of the argument might be
they're doing that like right now against that Harborside group in California. They're
right. Well, that's the
landlord. They're going after the landlord trying to seize the property.
Zoning laws.
It's these federal. That's exactly right.
But again, a lot of it has been focused on California specifically, although some in Colorado.
Yep.
Some in Colorado, but that might have been
Maine,
because of
Rhode Island,
because of of loopholes in the original wording of the law. So these new bills, as far as I'm aware, Washington and Colorado are pretty solid when it comes to zoning and specifying the qualifications for
moving in the right direction.
You know, so they're trying to make it more airtight so that perhaps that will impact the enforcement.
Yeah,
I think on the other side, like, we're going to see a pretty huge difference with the agrarian states, like the states that have the space to grow outside of the city. Like in Massachusetts, like we don't necessarily have like a ton of extra agrarian real estate, like a ton of extra land for growing, whereas California, Washington, and Colorado.
Are you kidding me? Out west,
no, I mean
Western Mass, Central Mass. There's a
yeah,
lot.
I mean,
if
you think of population per square mile, you know what I mean? Like population per like, you know what I mean? Like the actual space available for cash crop growing is like the laws out there need to be completely different, because you are going to have like in the next 15, 20 years when things start moving more towards legalization and medical
they already
federally,
have.
like as we move towards that 2/3 majority, the states are going to have to write laws in order to support this being a cash crop.
Right. I mean, I believe it's like 62 to 64% of Americans think that Colorado and Washington should be left alone. So, I mean, this isn't really that controversial of Obama to say. Clearly, I mean, it's
kind of lame. It's still
really
lame. It's actually lame.
Yeah,
Let's be serious.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
He's playing the game again. This guy's played the game with weed since like 2000 and whenever. Like when he was a state senator, and he said he supported it. He supported our side, and then he flip flopped, and he flip flopped again.
Too busy chewing.
He flip flopped again. He flip flopped in like. Sometimes, like, one day he was this and the next day he was that. And this was even during the presidential campaign.
Yeah.
For a day he was with us.
Because now he's saying, not at this time.
Yeah,
so he's
bullshit.
almost leaving the door open for himself, realizing, but that's not.
Come on, dude.
It's over 50% of the population at this point.
I
There's
don't
nothing
get this guy.
controversial
He's got
about
the
that.
opportunity. Like, there's so few
know,
things he
I know,
actually
I know.
has. I think this guy is bored because he has no power. And I'm speaking to you right now, Obama. You have no power. You know it, and you're bored, and you're pissed off about it. You have one power to do this. They would let you do this. They would let you do this. This would be the jobs program. This would be the thing that would set your legacy for 150 years that you are the greatest president of the modern age. Legalize cannabis. It's that simple. Diane Russell is right. When she's collecting all these signatures, let's talk about Diane Russell. Diane Russell right now has a signon.org. Dear President Obama, please respect the will of the people and let the states set their own marijuana policies without federal intervention. Sincerely, Maine State Rep Diane Russell and undersigners. Signed by 2,627 people.
How long has it been open?
And if we get
Like
more
a
than
week or
10,000, then it goes directly to the president, correct?
Yeah. She needs 3,000 signatures to get to the next step on this. This is signon.org. She's going to get this. This is through moveon.org. She's going to get this to the president. This is her campaign. She's leading it from the ground up. People should support this. She does go to the White House. She does talk to them. She's the one out there saying, let's get this done. And Obama, listen to Diane Russell. She knows what she's talking about. She was reelected.
Yep, exactly.
Well, I mean, an interesting point was brought up in an interview that's actually on the website with the editor from the American Cultivator, and she mentioned that she thinks that it's going to be a third-year campaign for Obama's second term.
That's what she told us. She came on the show. She said to us, and none of us wanted to hear it. Everyone got pissed off, including myself a little bit, even though I really didn't. I actually defended her a lot in that, because a lot of her supporters and the opponents ripped her apart on YouTube. They were like, and I just said, you know what? She's telling you the truth. What she knows is the truth. We'll see if it's true.
Yeah. Because it's like, I mean, if you really think about it, like from a jobs perspective and what it's done in Michigan for like medical, what it's done in Washington, like what it's going to do in Washington and Colorado for the industry, what it's done in California.
Well, we'll see.
California was bankrupt.
Yeah,
like it's
still bankrupt.
It's still like not in the best place, but at the same time, like there's hope for states that move forward with innovative industry.
And this is
who knows what happens in Massachusetts too. We're gonna see, I mean,
this is
we're seeing the backlash already with Canamed. We're gonna be talking again later.
And like you said earlier, the dispensary bans.
Right?
Massachusetts
and the media
makes too much sense. We're a state of doctors and lawyers.
Yeah, and yet,
And it,
this
Yet they're the most con people of all. Like, seriously, I've been around tons of doctors and lawyers, and a
They're
lot of times
afraid.
they are the biggest sheep of all.
Yeah, they're afraid.
They're very organized. They are used to reporting to people of power. They respect power. They respect each other. They're conventional people.
they know it's bullshit.
They stick what the status quo is. But eventually they'll change because the status quo is
Change
our
is
way
scary,
now.
Mike.
It's not their circle yet that it's their way, the way it is in the general public, but it will be soon.
But we have some people, particularly in office and business owners that, like our guy from Canamed, that are willing to step up, and that's the tide. I mean, now public opinion is finally on their side, on those people's side. The tide of history is going in our direction.